I must be honest and begin by telling you that when I prayed these readings last night before going to sleep, and I read the line, prayed the line, "Let there be light," I could well imagine that that was the hope of many a New England fan last night during the game. And luckily, the sentence ended the same, and there was light. The readings this day are truly about light. What does it mean to be light for someone else? This past December, I needed to come here to Catholic TV to shoot a new Christmas special. And luckily for me, at about the same time, a parishioner came forward at my parish in Newton and volunteered his services because he can sing and play the guitar. So I asked him if he would come with me on this particular day to be my musical guest for my 2016 Christmas special. He said yes. I asked him if he'd ever been here to Catholic TV before, and he said no. Now, I've told many a story about getting lost. I really don't have a sense of direction, but there are some places that I've come to for so often, I really can get here quite easily. And Catholic TV is one of those places in my life. I even know a few shortcuts as to how to get here. So the day came for us to come here to the studios to shoot the special, and he followed me. I told him to keep his eye on me. I'd be taking a few shortcuts, taking a few quick rights and lefts, not to lose me. He promised he wouldn't, and he didn't. He got here okay. However, it was what was going on inside me as he followed me that made me think of the readings this day. I was very mindful that I couldn't drive as I usually do. I needed to be very intentioned. I needed to drive slowly enough so that if in the distance I saw the light was turning red, yellow, I wouldn't go through the yellow light because then he would lose me. I had to be very mindful to put on my directional early enough for him to see that I was going to take a left, that I was going to take a right. I was very mindful of the fact that I was his guide to Catholic TV, that he was existing in the darkness of not knowing how to get here, and he needed to follow my directives, which for him at that moment were light. I was mindful of the fact that when it came to not getting lost, I was the light in his darkness. It made me be very intentional as to everything that I was doing. In the beginning, God created the light. He created, the author of Genesis reminds us very clearly, he created the sun to rule the day, the moon to rule the night, and he set the stars in place. The sun burns very brightly, doesn't it? The moon's a little dimmer, stars dimmer still, and yet all of them are light. Very intense light sometimes, a dim light at other times, a scant light at others, yet light all the same. Yesterday in the gospel, we heard Jesus remind us that he indeed is light to the world, but he shares that with us. He shares that mission with us. We are called to be disciples in his mission of sharing the light. Sometimes we allow our light to burn very brightly, and we truly are images of him. Sometimes when we get caught up in other things, perhaps our light is a bit dim, but it's light nonetheless. My friends, sharing the light is a mission. And I think it can be a little frightening sometimes to take that responsibility on ourselves. It means that we have to be ready always to listen to the lonely, to offer compassion and strength and consolation. It means that we have to live ever ready to share that light. And yet when we remember that it's not our light that we're sharing, it's His, I think we are able to draw strength from Him. In a very real way, what our God invites us to do, what Jesus invites us to do, is to have faith in Him that when we do need to be the light for someone else, He'll let us know what to do. He will give us the words that we need to say. He will give us the strength, the motivation. That's what living in Christ is all about. That's what being motivated by faith is all about. Living in His light so that we can draw strength from Him and be light to those around us in need. My friends, as we celebrate this day, the feast of St. Paul, Miki and his companions, a group of people so willing to share their faith, their light, we're reminded that in our day and age, we are called to do the same. We are called to be the same. Light to one another. His light shining through all that we do in word and deed.